Vasili Arkhipov, a name largely unknown to the world, yet one that holds the weight of preventing a nuclear apocalypse. This is the story of a man whose critical decision during the Cuban Missile Crisis averted a potential global catastrophe, a decision that saved countless millions, perhaps billions of lives. We begin at the very beginning, with his birth and early life in a Russia on the cusp of immense change. Born in 1926 in the small town of Stalin, now Donetsk, in Ukraine, Vasili Arkhipov's early years were shaped by the tumultuous era of the Soviet Union under Stalin. His childhood was likely marked by the hardships and uncertainties of a nation grappling with rapid industrialization, collectivization, and the ever-present shadow of political repression. The details of his family life during this period remain relatively scarce in readily available English-language sources, a testament to the challenges of accessing information from that era and that region. However, what is clear is that his upbringing instilled in him a strong sense of duty and discipline, traits that would later prove crucial in his career and during the Cuban Missile Crisis. His access to education, the quality of schooling, and his family's social standing all remain areas needing further research to paint a complete picture of his formative years. We can only speculate on the influence of his family and his early environment on the man he would become, a man capable of the profound responsibility he would bear in 1962. We know he was exposed to the realities of a rapidly changing world, a world on the brink of war even before the Cold War fully ignited. His path towards a naval career, a career that would ultimately lead him to the precipice of nuclear war, began with his education. While precise details about his formal schooling are limited, we can assume he received a solid education, likely focusing on science and mathematics, given the demands of a career in the Soviet Navy. His entrance into the Naval Academy, the rigorous training he underwent, and his subsequent specialization in submarine warfare all remain areas requiring further investigation to provide a complete narrative. However, we can infer that his academic performance must have been exceptional to gain admittance to such a prestigious and demanding institution. The rigorous training he underwent would have instilled in him the discipline, precision, and strategic thinking necessary for command-level responsibilities in the high-stakes world of submarine operations. The stories of his fellow cadets, their experiences, and their shared struggles would have shaped his understanding of the Soviet Navy's ethos and its role in the burgeoning Cold War. The Cold War, the defining geopolitical conflict of the 20th century, cast a long shadow over Arkhipov's life. It shaped his career, his decisions, and ultimately, the course of history. The escalating tensions between the Soviet Union and the United States, the nuclear arms race, and the ever-present threat of global annihilation formed the backdrop against which his life unfolded. His rise through the ranks of the Soviet Navy was directly influenced by this context. The Soviet Navy was undergoing rapid expansion and modernization, mirroring the broader ambitions of the Soviet Union. The development of nuclear-powered submarines, a key component of Soviet naval strategy, directly influenced Arkhipov's career trajectory. His expertise in submarine operations, his understanding of nuclear weaponry, and his strategic acumen were all honed within this context of intense competition and heightened risk. The constant threat of war, the possibility of nuclear conflict, became an undeniable reality in his professional life. His career progressed steadily, marked by promotions and increasing responsibility. He moved from junior officer to command positions, each role requiring greater competence, leadership, and decision-making skills. We need to delve deeper into the specifics of his assignments, his performance evaluations, the challenges he overcame, and the relationships he forged during this period. Each promotion, each successful mission, each successful navigation of the treacherous political currents within the Soviet Navy contributed to his eventual position of authority during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The details of his assignments, the specific types of submarines he commanded, the operational areas he covered, are all crucial pieces of information that will allow us to fully appreciate the depth of his experience and the breadth of his knowledge when he found himself at the heart of the crisis. His experience with different types of submarines, with different crews, and in different operational theaters undoubtedly shaped his understanding of naval warfare and the intricacies of command and control in high-pressure situations. It shaped his ability to assess risk, to make difficult choices under immense pressure, and to navigate the complex political landscape of the Soviet military. The Cuban Missile Crisis of October 1962 remains a pivotal moment in human history. The world teetered on the brink of nuclear war, a confrontation that could have resulted in unprecedented devastation. Arkhipov, by then a seasoned submarine officer, found himself aboard the B-59, a Soviet submarine deployed to the waters off Cuba. The tension aboard the submarine, the claustrophobia, the psychological strain of the situation must have been immense. The lack of communication with Soviet command, the uncertainty about the unfolding events above the surface, and the ever-present threat of American attack created a cauldron of anxiety and fear. The submarine, submerged deep in the ocean, was a microcosm of the broader global conflict, a pressure cooker of fear and uncertainty. The crew, operating under immense pressure and with limited information, were on the verge of making a decision that could have triggered a global nuclear conflict. The situation aboard the B-59 was critical. The submarine had experienced a loss of communication with Moscow, and the limited information they had received indicated that a nuclear war might already be underway. The oxygen supply was dwindling, the crew was exhausted, and the possibility of a depth-charge attack from the U.S. Navy became increasingly real. 2 of the 3 officers aboard the B-59 believed they were authorized to launch a nuclear torpedo. This was a moment of unimaginable tension, a decision that could have sparked a chain reaction that would have changed the course of human history forever. The weight of this responsibility, the understanding of the potential consequences, must have been almost unbearable. The detailed account of the deliberations on board the submarine, the arguments for and against launching the nuclear torpedo, the personal anxieties and fears of the crew, are all crucial elements in understanding the gravity of the moment. The psychological toll on the crew, the impact of the confined space, the constant threat of death, are all critical factors in understanding the context of Arkhipov's decision. This is where Vasili Arkhipov's actions become legendary. He stood against the other 2 officers, preventing the launch of the nuclear torpedo. His reasoned argument, his calm demeanor in the face of potential annihilation, his unwavering commitment to avoiding a nuclear catastrophe, saved the world. It was a decision made under immense pressure, a decision that required immense courage and a clear understanding of the potential consequences. His leadership, his strategic thinking, his refusal to yield to panic, were all crucial factors in preventing a nuclear war. The exact details of his argument, the reasons he gave to prevent the launch, the way he persuaded his fellow officers, are all areas that deserve further research and scrutiny. His understanding of the international political situation, his ability to reason despite the immense pressure, his clear-headed judgment in the face of potential annihilation, all contributed to the outcome. The immediate aftermath of the crisis saw a gradual easing of tensions. The world, having narrowly avoided a cataclysmic war, started to breathe a collective sigh of relief. However, Arkhipov's role remained largely unknown to the public for decades. His actions were classified, and the full extent of his contribution to preventing a nuclear war remained hidden behind the veil of secrecy surrounding the Soviet military. The silence surrounding his actions, the lack of public acknowledgement, is a reflection of the Cold War's secrecy and the limited information shared between the superpowers. The years following the Cuban Missile Crisis saw Arkhipov continuing his career in the Soviet Navy, rising further through the ranks. His continued service, his subsequent assignments, and the recognition he received within the Soviet military all deserve further investigation. The details of his later career, his promotions, his contributions to naval strategy, and the changes in his responsibilities are all crucial to understanding the full scope of his life and career. His life after the crisis, while less dramatic than the events of October 1962, is still significant. It reflects the complexities of life within the Soviet military, the challenges of navigating a hierarchical and secretive system, and the personal sacrifices he made in service to his country. We can explore his family life, his relationships with his colleagues, his later years, and the eventual recognition he received. The accounts of his personal life, his relationships with family and friends, and his reflections on the Cuban Missile Crisis, if any exist, are crucial to creating a complete and rounded portrait of the man. The impact of his decision on his life, the personal cost of his courage, and his legacy are all aspects that deserve further exploration. The story of Vasili Arkhipov is not just about a single moment of courage. It's about a lifetime of service, dedication, and ultimately, a critical decision that saved the world. His life, though shrouded in some mystery, stands as a testament to the power of individual action to prevent global catastrophe. It's a story that needs to be told, retold, and remembered, a story that reminds us of the fragility of peace and the importance of reasoned judgment in the face of extreme pressure. His story serves as a powerful reminder of the human capacity for courage, for reason, and for preventing the unthinkable. It's a story of a man who, through his actions, changed the course of history, a man who deserves to be remembered not only for his bravery, but also for his profound contribution to the survival of humanity. The more we learn about his life, the more we appreciate the significance of his actions and the lasting impact he had on the world. Further research into his personal life, his military career, and the specific details of the Cuban Missile Crisis will only serve to deepen our understanding of this remarkable man and his pivotal role in averting a nuclear war. His legacy should serve as a constant reminder of the importance of diplomacy, restraint, and the human capacity for rational decision-making in the face of extraordinary pressure. The detailed study of his life, his training, his relationships, and his experiences will illuminate not only his character, but also the broader context of the Cold War and the precarious balance of power during that era. The more we understand Vasili Arkhipov, the better we will understand the dangers of nuclear conflict and the importance of preventing future catastrophes. His story is a testament to the power of one man to change the world, a story that deserves to be told and remembered for generations to come. A story that stands as a beacon of hope in a world still grappling with the potential for nuclear war. The continued study of Vasili Arkhipov's life will undoubtedly unearth more details, enriching our understanding of this unsung hero and the profound impact he had on the fate of humanity.